And his wife is like, be careful, you better come home to me.
You better come home in one piece.
Subtle foreshadowing.
All right, so we start with Charles fingering his crops.
I was not ready for that.
Maybe I would survive, but I would have some smashed hands.
Because we have like little stumps.
Yeah. They say, do you have any kids, Jacob? And he goes, I don't know.
Just left her when she was about to have one.
Well, but it's kind of like a, who knows, maybe. Like, maybe Jacob's been getting, but then he's like, no, I don't know. My wife was really pregnant when I left, so. Could be a dad. He's maybe not.
He's not the town whore.
Do you love trauma with a touch of wholesome family fun? Then you're in the right place.
Welcome to Little House Big Opinions, where after we watch each episode, we wonder, were we really supposed to be okay after watching this?
If you're not okay after watching Little House, you're not alone. But don't fear. We're here as your expert Little House guides to guide you through. So hop into that saddle.
Grab your bonnets, and let's go.
You've probably heard of the show, Little House on the Prairie. We grew up being told the tale was wholesome, cozy, and oh so sweet. But I swear there's something tragic in like half of all the scenes.
I mean, seriously, did the writers run out of themes?
They said it's just some drama, but I think it sparked our trauma.
We're both totally fine now, though.
So now we're rewatching the show and talking about it as we go. This is Little House Big Opinions. I guess we'll see how this goes.
What's up, everyone? Today we will be covering episode 3, The 100-Mile Walk.
Or 4. It's still undecided.
I think we need to decide and stick with. I think we should say pilot is pilot. It doesn't count. So this would be episode 3. Because I think that's officially how it's listed.
Okay.
So, episode 3. Yeah. The 100-Mile Walk.
Yes.
Your initial thoughts on this episode?
This is the first traumatizing episode, I think.
I would agree. I feel like up until this point, you know, we've had some moments, but more on the wholesome side.
Yes. So I think that this is the first episode where we start to see some of the harder parts of life on the prairie.
I would agree. A dude literally explodes. So
yeah,
there's that.
Yeah. I feel like Michael Landon was really excited to shoot this scene, and I feel like it might have been the biggest budget shot for the scene. So all in all, a lot of exciting things.
Shock factor for sure. All right, so should we just get into it?
Yes. Let's go.
All right, so we start with Charles fingering his crops.
I was not ready for that.
That's what I wrote down. You want me to say it again?
Well, do you have any Little House lore for this episode?
Oh, yeah. Am I doing that first?
Yes.
Okay.
You were really eager to get to that.
Okay. I was proud of myself for that one. Okay. So, Little House lore. So, we were doing a little bit of investigating about the cast, and Karen Grassle is who plays Carolyn.
Yes.
And it seems that there was a little bit of contention between her and Michael Landon on set, despite their happy, loving relationship on screen. It seems kind of like he was a good old boy, kind of created a boys club atmosphere that she was not a huge fan of. She also had a little bit of tension when she asked for a raise, and I'm assuming she didn't get it.
She should have definitely gotten a raise.
Yeah, so just as in the show, Carolyn is always right. I stand by Karen.
Yes.
It's very confusing. Carolyn
and Karen.
Yes. But yeah, there's a little house lore for you.
And we did find out that she wrote a book.
Yes, and we are going to order that.
100%.
And then we also found out that we knew, of course, about the children's books that Laura Ingalls wrote. We read them as children, but we found out that she wrote, yes. And we will be rereading them.
Definitely.
But we found out that she also wrote a book called Pioneer Woman later on, which kind of talked more about the truth of prairie life, that she had some of the stuff that she had left out for the sake of children and their young minds. So a little bit more of the realities. So we are going to get that one as well.
Which begs the question, how would she have felt about the show?
True. I think it's actually crazy, but I'm pretty sure she...
Was she alive for part of it?
Am I crazy? I gotta look it up now.
I feel like she died like in the 60s.
Okay, she died in 1957.
It was close.
When did Little House air?
68, I think.
68.
Or
Okay.
maybe 72.
So, I was lying. But
that, I mean, that's pretty close, honestly.
It is close.
For
okay, so I wasn't totally crazy.
a historical remake.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy, like, that she lived in the 40s?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy. You know, like, imagine... I mean, I guess it's kind of that way for everybody. I mean, we've certainly lived through some historic events, but, like, imagine, like...
Unfortunately.
Like, imagine being born in the 1800s. Like...
Yeah.
And, like, the... Coming to the Wild West and then, like, living your adult life through the 1940s and the World War. That would be a little wild.
Yeah. And
I mean, I say that, like, I'm like, imagine being born in one century and then living as an adult in the next, and I'm like, oh, wait. I just made the cut.
But my dad was born in 1960, so only 3 years after she passed.
Wow, so close. So, should we get into the episode itself?
Yes, into the deep dive.
Okay, so we open up with Pa fingering his crops.
It is a close-up scene of the fingering, too. So.
Yes, yeah. And he is thanking God. He literally looks at the sky and says, "Thank you, God," because it's going to be a good harvest.
It's going to be real good
crops.
Yeah, and again, I think we might get 2 minutes tops
of this,
of
like,
the happy times.
Everything's okay. We do have a little bit of an extension of the scene. He comes in, goes over with the girls, like, this is how much money we're going to get from, what do we need to buy?
Yeah.
You know, Carolyn's, like...
very excited about what they're going to do with it.
And then he shows the family that he has gotten horses. He has used the oxen they had as down payment, and the guy at the mill gave him the horses, and we assume that he's going to pay the rest of it once he harvests his crop. So the girls are excited about the horses, everything's happy, and
then a storm falls upon them.
A literal storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It starts to rain.
Yeah, and I think there's hail.
And then it starts to hail, and then Carrie starts crying, and all hope is lost.
But I think Charles, like, goes out into the field, right? And he's just kind of, like, looking.
When it starts hailing, I think he does. And he definitely plays this scene as, like, trying to remain positive, but you can tell he's really concerned. You know, Carolyn's like, what about the wheat? He's like, it's okay, they could use a good drenching. But you could tell.
And then as it goes on, it kind of flips, and Carolyn's trying to be more positive.
Right. He comes in from the hail, and he's actually this. I think you can see a big shift in character portrayal here, because you would kind of expect Pa to, like, lose it when he realizes that the crops are gonna, but he's actually very calm, and he's just kind of matter of fact, and he tells Carolyn, like, wheat's gone. It's gone.
Didn't make it.
And he just accepts it. So, maybe a little too soon, perhaps. We'll talk about that. But, so because...
A bit of a hasty decision on his part.
Since they won't be able to harvest the crops. A lot of men are going to Mr. Hansen, who owns the mill, asking for a loan, asking if they can get some funds, because nobody has any crops. And he is just politely like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't swing it. I can't give a loan to everybody.
But shout out to Mr. Hansen. I feel like he really is the backbone of Walnut Grove.
Yeah.
Like, he helps so many of the men, like, with jobs. And
I think he's probably pretty well off because he doesn't have any family or kids.
Also, we never see where he lives. Like, does he just live above the mill?
Maybe. Who knows? So he can't give him a loan. And so the result is that what do these men decide to do?
Well, I don't remember how they find out about it. I feel like Pa just decides
Well, they just set out for work.
Okay.
They're just looking for work.
Yeah, so Pa just starts walking.
He starts walking.
And along the way, he comes across another farm, and there is a nice man who just happens to be leaving as Pa is walking up.
It does show his family, and so it shows him, you know, saying goodbye to his wife, her telling him to be careful, Jack's son kind of playing with him, you know. So it really sets it up like they love each other a lot, very close family.
Yeah. And his wife is like, be careful, you better come home to me.
You better come home in one piece.
Subtle foreshadowing.
And Pa's shoes are literally falling apart. They're like, the sole's coming undone.
Like
he had them tied up, but the string broke. So this guy, what accent does he have?
Irish?
That's what I thought. I think I read Englishman, but it sounds more Irish to me.
Yeah, it's definitely Irish.
Definitely red hair. So I'm, you know, I don't know. Not trying to jump to conclusions, but
Yeah, I feel like it's
Irish. We think Irish. His name is Jack.
Northern European.
He offers Pa some twine, something to tie his shoe up. So they're friends walking along. They build a campfire at night. They're eating, and then another fella comes to join. This one, Scandinavian,
yeah.
Yeah.
They're really coming from all over.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew? Little Walnut Grove. So he asks if he can join, sit by the fire. I'm like, of course. And
Jack tells them that he has a job lined up and they're always looking for more help. So if they want to come along, they're welcome to talk to his boss.
Specifically, he asks them if they've ever heard of double jacking.
And they're like, no.
Which is pretty funny as is, but then when the guy's name is also Jack, I mean, it really lends itself to some
good jokes.
Yeah. So what it actually is, though, is this process of one guy holding a nail. Mm-hmm. I'm really bad today. Okay. One guy holding a nail.
But more like a spike.
Yeah, like it's
like
big.
a railroad spike type thing.
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah, it's big. And drilling it into rock with a hammer, essentially. I mean, not a hammer, because it's what is that called? A sledge? Obviously, we would not survive on the prairie.
It's a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Yeah. A sledgehammer.
I don't know.
Us together.
A mallet.
We could maybe make it work. One person holds the spike, the other swings the sledgehammer to drill it in so that dynamite can be inserted and blown up. Woo! You might have to edit some of this out. I'm really over the top today. Okay, so to put dynamite in and blow the rock. It's a quarry, so
there you go.
Yeah.
But are they trying to get gold?
I don't really know what their purpose is. If they're just... I don't think it's explained.
I don't think it is.
They're just blowing up rocks.
Yeah. So there's a fairly long scene where Pa and the Scandinavian guy are like showing that they can do this work.
They show up. They have to prove themselves.
Yes. They're double jacking. One thing that I noted is that, like, they're pretty good at this. Yeah. For never having done this before.
I mean, I put down, like, obviously these guys probably chop wood on the regular.
True.
You got this much circumference, and then the sledgehammer. I mean, you have to have accuracy, obviously.
Yeah.
But the axe going into the wood, I feel like...
Much larger target.
Yes. Much larger target, not as much room for air, and then obviously it's wood, so you're not having the risk of, like, somebody holding it there.
Like, smashing their head.
This actually gave me anxiety.
It did. Amanda and I were both like...
I couldn't remember. I was like, does a hand get smashed?
I really thought that it did.
I thought so too. I mean, I knew that something traumatic in this episode happened.
Yeah.
Like, literally the credits opened and, like, we were like, something happens in this episode. So we're, like, sitting there with anxiety because I really couldn't remember if a hand got smashed up. So, yeah, but they're pretty good at this for never having done it and for having a sledgehammer that has a spike that's much smaller than wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to both take turns, double jacking.
Yeah. And they get hired, and I think that they said that this job is like a couple weeks long. I think that it was like a set period of time.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna stay there. They're doing that. And so then we flash back to home, where we find out that Pa may have been a little too hasty. So, you want to tell them what Carolyn...
Yeah, so Carolyn goes out to the wheat field and is walking around and sees that there is a lot of good wheat that has just fallen to the ground because of the heavy rain and the hail. But she's like, we could still harvest this.
It just can't be harvested by machine. It's going to have to be harvested by hand.
So... Carolyn's really using her critical thinking here. And she gets the other wives of Walnut Grove together. And they decide that they are all going to work together to help each other hand harvest the wheat.
And then they will share the profits.
Yes.
Most of the women are on board. They're like, we don't really have another option. We want to do something to try and, feed our families.
Yeah.
There's one woman who's a little like, no, sounds like a lot of work. And honestly, relatable.
Yeah.
And she's not so sure, but she eventually decides to go along with it.
Yeah.
So they start about the process of harvesting this wheat by hand.
Yeah.
Like Ruth, as Carolyn says, of the Bible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I like how, like, they always quote that part and, like, just kind of jump over
Gloss
the part
over
that
the
it's
rest.
like, and she also climbed into bed with Boaz.
But not like that.
Not
she
like
just
that.
Had to
She just laid at his
lay
feet.
by him. A lot of not critical thinking going on.
Yeah,
by
but
the
anyways.
post.
So they are harvesting by hand. And then I think then we just go back to them working, right?
Yeah, I think that there's a scene where they're like having lunch or something.
While they're having this lunch, they kind of all have a heart-to-heart. They're like sitting out on their beds, Pa's writing a letter to home. So they're sitting around talking about their family, just talking about how they all miss their family.
Jacob's wife is heavily pregnant.
Yes.
When he sets out.
Which is actually, they say, do you have any kids, Jacob? And he goes, I don't know. And,
just left her when she was about to have one.
well, but it's kind of like a, who knows, maybe Jacob's been getting, but then he's like, no, I don't know, my wife was really pregnant when I left, so. Could be a dad, maybe not.
He's not the town whore.
No, he's not. So they're just kind of reminiscing, talking about missing home. And one thing I do want to note is, in Pa's letter, he says, I was just saying to my friends that I've made that 100 miles is not a great distance unless it's between, like, you and the ones you love, or something like that. He says something along those lines.
Okay.
And based on the title, and based on this, did they really walk 100 miles? That's a lot of miles.
Especially to walk. Especially with a shoe that's flapping.
Yeah. I mean, like, that would take days. Like, I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
how long were they gone? Like, that would take, like...
Weeks.
Well, like, at least, like, several days of, like, non-stop walking, or, like,
Yeah.
if you were more realistic and spread it out a little more, like, at least a week or two, I would think.
Let's see.
Because I think the standard is what? That you can... I think it's, like, reasonably a fit person can walk... How many miles a day?
15?
15?
Yeah.
I mean, so even if we were going to say 20 miles, that'd be 5 days of walking.
Okay. Oh, that doesn't sound so bad. So this says typical walking pace is about 3 miles per hour. So that's about 33 hours of walking. So if you walk 8 hours per day, 4 to 5 days, 10 to 12 hours per day. Per day.
But a few days either way. And
Yeah.
I think this is, like, not, like, considering... Obviously, I think any normal person, it's, like, for a day, like, I could walk 15 miles, but then to have to get up and do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And then do it
And
several
you're
days in a row.
sleeping on the ground.
And then you're going from that to working in a quarry. And I mean, not only is it, like, dangerous work, but I mean, it's hot out
Intensive.
there,
Yeah.
and it's, they have to take turns, and whoever's swinging is getting hot.
And I feel like, for me, obviously the work would be really hard, but trusting someone that you don't really know
Yeah.
to not smash.
Would we make a good double jacking team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I trust you. Do I think that
I don't think we would make any progress because we would just be so careful. We'd be like like just little.
We would try to think of other ways to do it besides that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, we would try
We
to...
probably wouldn't be there because we would have been like Carolyn, and we would have been like, hey, we could just harvest this wheat.
Yeah, exactly.
So, after they have this heartfelt conversation...
Job site, like, manager is saying that they're doing a really good job, and he's going to have a contest.
Yes.
Because they need to get some work done quickly, and whoever gets the spike there's like a white line on the spike, and if they get the white mark into the rock first, they get a bonus at the end of the week with the rest of their pay.
Yeah.
So that's their way of keeping the workers
Some incentive.
there.
Yeah. It's like a pizza party in modern day times.
Basically.
Yeah.
So Charles and what did you
Jacob.
say his name was? Charles and Jacob are a team. Jack is not one of the double jackers.
He's a powder monkey.
Powder monkey.
He blows up the stuff with the dynamite. And somewhere in here we have a scene of the women working, the one lady complaining.
Yes.
But they're working hard. They're
But
sweating.
we also, during this like montage of them working, we get a very, very close pan in on them, like, I don't know what it's called when you...
Sifting the grain?
Yeah, but it's just like a zoom in on the powder that's coming up into the air.
My allergies would not make it.
And I just thought that was an interesting filming choice.
Yes. But they're working hard. They're showing, that they're working, but they're making progress. It seems like it's going well.
We get a really good shot of Ma kind of at the end of it after they're putting, like, all of the bushels together, where she's, like, sweaty and kind of dirty.
Hair is kind of...
And she does, like, a...
Tussled. Just been working all day in the fields.
And fair. Carolyn deserved that moment because Charles just thought that it was a total bust. And she was like...
Wait a second. Which, wouldn't be necessarily as big of a deal if the context was Paul had to go away for a couple weeks and work and it wasn't, like, the best work.
Right.
But a man literally dies. So I think Paul meets Jack a few miles out of Walnut Grove, but it's supposed to be relatively close because when they send the letters home, it shows the women back in Walnut Grove getting the letters, and there's a long line of women, and both Jack and Jacob's wives are in that line.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so she's there as well. So, I mean, she has to be at least relatively close to Walnut Grove if that's where she's getting her mail.
Interesting.
Also kind of interesting that they've never met before, but... Hey, whatever. We don't need to explain that. It's just a TV
Fallacies.
show. So, going back to the competition.
Pa and Jacob,
either one.
Old Jacob win, obviously, and they're all excited. Everybody is very nice about it.
Yeah.
They're, like,
Is it
congratulating
obvious,
them.
though? Because, I mean, like, when they show up, there are some guys there who are, like, good. Like, they do this full time.
Yeah.
Like, they've been there. They're not just looking for work.
Yeah.
So, kind of surprising.
Yeah.
But what else is going to happen, obviously?
So, after this, again, we get maybe a minute and a half
of celebration.
Of excitement.
I wouldn't even say that long. 30 seconds.
And Jacob are very happy. They go, like,
they're walking back, like,
somewhere.
I guess, towards the beds or rest area, and they see Jack up on some rocks, and
he's, like, teasing them.
But he's congratulating them, and then, all of a sudden...
Kablam! He steps on one of the... I don't even know how he's
holding one. I don't know if it just goes off by accident.
Yeah.
Or what. But obviously, it's not, like, graphic. It's literally just a huge flame explosion. And then we get a close-up of
the flames.
Of Charles and the flames.
Billowing.
Yes.
For, like, 45 seconds.
And I think Charles just says Jack, right? He just, Jack!
Yes.
While looking at the...
Very, like, distressed, perplexed look.
Yes.
And then it shows Pa collecting his pay and the bonus. And then the guy gives Pa the money for Jack. Yes. So that he can give it to Jack's family.
So they start heading back. Very somber mood, of course. At least on the way, we do get to see Jacob reunited with his wife and their newborn child.
And it's a boy.
Yes. Because boys are better, obviously. So he's reunited, and then Charles makes it to Jack's family and has to break the news.
Yes. And the wife is kind of just like, are you serious? But the little boy, who's probably, what, like 8 or 9?
I was gonna say 10.
Okay. Around that range, just, like, takes off running and is sobbing, and you see him in with the horses, and he's like, Pa, why? Why, Pa? I thought you were the best. Yeah, I thought you were the best.
Petting the horse.
Yeah.
Which that part makes sense. Getting a little comfort from that. And then Pa approaches.
Heartfelt moment with Pa.
And basically says, like, I'd like to look in on you and your ma. Maybe we could go fishing sometime. Kind of trying to be a, father figure.
Yeah.
And, the boy's nice about it. And he's like, thanks, Mr. Ingalls. And he's like, and then he just mans up and says, I gotta get to work now that my dad's dead.
And he literally just, like, goes and starts working on stuff.
So, that's the Prairie for you.
Yeah.
One thing, though, that I wanted to point out was that I feel like this happens a lot where we have these side characters introduced and they allude to, or there's at least, like, a hint of, like, Pa saying something like, oh, we should, and then you never see them again.
Just
never again.
Forgotten about.
And I just feel like they could find a way to weave in, like, I don't understand why it couldn't just have been that his Pa did not live as close to Walnut Grove.
Yeah.
So, like, it realistically, like, just didn't make sense. So instead of being like, hey, I'd like to look after you and be your surrogate father, it would have just been like, I'm really sorry about your dad. Here's your money. Maybe a nice thing would have been, like, to give him a little bit of the bonus, like, that he had earned. Like,
come on, Charles.
Come on. Like, here's some money, extra money to hopefully help.
Yeah.
And, like, go, but instead, he's like, hey, I want to look after you, and then we never see him again. So.
Yeah. Not good on carrying through.
No, not good on
carrying.
Follow through.
That.
Yeah. Then we get Paul going home.
Carolyn
Reunited.
is very excited, but I do not think that we get a Charles.
We do not. I don't think we get any Charles this episode.
No, it's very sad.
Yeah. No mention there. Do they ever mention at any point? I
The
think,
wheat. No.
There's no moment where, like, Carolyn is like, hey, guess what we did?
No, there's nothing. He just gets back.
He just gets back, they're reunited, that's where the episode ends. And, like, obviously we know they were able to harvest the wheat and able to get some of the money, all that good stuff, but I wanted, like, a kind of, like, you should have just stayed here and helped your wife, and also this dude wouldn't be dead if y'all had just, like, taken a closer look at the wheat.
Well, he might have been, because he didn't have a farm like that.
No, he did, because when he's leaving, or no, when they're talking, he's like, I used to do this full time, but my wife made me stop and take up farming instead.
Oh, okay.
Which is why she's especially like, you better be careful.
Yeah, but
so he has a farm too.
Okay.
So if they had just taken a little closer look at their wheat,
that would have been fine.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I have any more notes on this episode.
Yeah, the girls aren't really in this one a whole lot either. I think that it shows
them
Laura and Mary helping
yeah.
with the wheat, but then other than that, there's not a whole lot.
So that's pretty much it for the deep dive.
Yeah, I do have some good quotes.
Yes,
for this
we'll do our favorite line. I don't know if it's the exact quote, but my favorite line is just when ever heard of double jacking?
And I think mine was probably, drillers, grab your steel. That was really good. And then also, during the contest, drive it in! Yeah, that's a good one too. I also made a note that it's funny how now watching, I obviously didn't pick up on this when I was younger, but now I feel like both the hairstyles that the characters have, as well as the music. I don't think so much in this episode, but especially a couple episodes later, it sounds very 70s.
Yeah, that would make sense. Michael Landon's show, Highway to Heaven, was set in the 60s, 70s, I think. Yeah. So,
which, speaking of Highway to Heaven,
a remake of that as well. This is a big time for Michael Landon fans.
Yes. Which, Highway to Heaven had Mr. Edwards in it, too.
It did. Oh, which is something that I forgot to... Oh, wait, no. That's next episode. Yeah. So, exciting news.
Very exciting. Maybe we can, once we finish
this one, maybe we'll move on to that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that is all the quotes that I have.
Okay, so survivability. I put it at a 0. I don't think I...
Yeah.
Between the explosions and the... maybe I would survive, but I would have some smashed hands.
Because we have like little stumps.
Yeah. We decided that we were going to do
the worst scenario.
Like the worst scenario there. Obviously, the women are working hard. We're not diminishing that. But I've worked hard before. I could do that.
I could bend over and pick some meat up.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to. But I could. I would survive that. The double jacking. I don't know if I'd survive the double jacking.
Yeah, that might be a little too intense.
Yeah. I might survive, but I don't know if I'd come out with...
all of your limbs?
Yeah. Yeah. So
0.
I put survivability. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll say like 3. Because I think I could survive. I just would.
I think that how you and I are, we would blow ourselves up.
That's true.
Accidentally.
That's true. Probably.
We would do something accidentally. We would walk somewhere we weren't supposed to.
And the thing is, it's like obvious. Okay, so even if we did only smash our hands, then how are we going to get food? We would starve. we aren't making it out of this scenario alive. Okay, so I'll go back to my original. 0 survivability.
We did.
Trauma. See, the thing is...
Did we decide that we were going to do this with long-lasting trauma? Like, is this one that will stick in our minds and cause PTSD down the road, or...
I think we just said, how traumatic was it watching? I think we said current times, not like as a child, because obviously I feel like watching this as a child would be more traumatic.
Yeah.
But I will say, I did start to remember as the episode went on that this happened. Like, I did.
Yeah.
It did start to come back to me, but this was not one that, like, is ingrained in...
Yeah.
Like, there are a few episodes that, like, I will never forget because of how much they try. So, that's the thing you have to consider with our trauma ratings is, like, some people might rate this higher, but in the grand scheme of Little House episodes, comparatively. So, I think I would put this at a what?
7.
I was gonna say 6.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good.
It's rough.
I think it's one that more kind of just puts you on edge. Because as it goes on, you know something's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Charles count.
0. None this
So
episode.
sad.
At least we think. We forgot to count again. But we went back and...
We did look it up. We tried to do a due diligence research, but I do believe it's 0. Let us know if we're incorrect.
Somebody else go.
Fact check.
We could pay very little, but if anybody wants to be our full-time Charles counter,
That would be great.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have one of the husbands do that for us.
maybe. That's their only job. I just forget to do it as I'm taking notes. And
Because I get so embroiled
locked in.
into the show. Is that the right word for that? Embroiled?
I believe. Okay, so most bizarre moment, the explosion.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because it really comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. If you hadn't seen it before, you probably wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because you think something's going to happen when they're, this close to hitting each other's hands with a sledgehammer.
And it was really unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been one of the characters that you don't really know, and Powder Monkey could have been close, but it was unnecessary.
I don't know, maybe they just,
Wanted to show
a
the...
little trauma is necessary in Little House.
I guess so.
I guess so. So that's the most bizarre moment, and then big opinions.
Yes.
I feel like ours might be the same.
That Charles was hasty in his decision.
Yes. And that Carolyn was smarter,
Yeah.
thought things through a little better, and
Kind of proves that she is always one step ahead of Charles.
Yeah.
So, we would love to know your big opinions. So, definitely let us know. You can tell us your big opinions on Instagram at Little House Big Opinion.
Or TikTok.
Or on TikTok.
Same name.
You can also email us, littlehouseBigOpinions@gmail.com. We'd love to know your thoughts. And that concludes this episode. Next time is our very first Prairie Short.
Very short.
That's very exciting. Prairie Shorts are exactly that. They're just short because the episodes that we are going to be covering are a little bit more lighthearted and don't necessarily have a whole lot of commentary that's needed.
Don't have a lot of relevance to the main storyline.
Right. They're kind of the filler, feel-good episodes.
Yeah.
So,
We will see you next time for our Prairie Short, Mr. Edward's Homecoming. Thanks for watching!
Thanks for joining this week of Prairie Drama. We unpacked a little trauma. This is Little House, Big Opinions. See you next week for more wild decisions.